my name is Floria Andrea Otero, and I will be presenting my program design project. For this program, I chose a soccer athlete who is a center midfielder. His name is Adrian Garcia. He's a male subject who weighs 163 with the height of 5'7". There are many components of fitness that are important for success in soccer, and what I will be discussing in the next few slides will be the test that was administered to test for strength, power, speed, agility, and that includes aerobic and anaerobic fitness. For test 1, it was the vertical jump test. As you can see, Adrian Garcia scored excellent with 31 inches. The reason why I chose this test was to measure leg power, which in soccer players is a need, especially for their sport. The second test was agility t-test, and as you can see, he scored good with 9.7 seconds. The reason why I chose the agility t-test was because it's a testing for an individual's ability to move in all directions quickly, which is a combination of leg speed, leg power, and the agility of performance. And in soccer, to be able to move the ball very quickly and dodge an opponent. For the third test, I chose a 40-yard sprint test. The reason why is because in soccer, you will need to be able to sprint across the field in order to make the goal on the next field or to be able to catch up to the ball. Unfortunately, our subject did score poor. This is one of the tests we are going to work on to improve his 40-yard test. But the reason why I chose this test was to perform speed and agility techniques. The last test that I gave my subject was the 1.5 mile run, and in all of the ratings, he scored excellent with a 7-minute and 14-second time. The reason why I chose the 1.5 mile run was to perform their aerobic fitness and endurance, and that is the need for high intensity for the game. In the next few slides, we will talk about how to improve his test 3 40-yard speed test. This is going to be the layout for the 6-week mesocycle training. For Sunday, we're going to do cardio. Monday, it's going to be full body. Thursday, lower body and legs. Wednesday, stretching and active rest. Thursday, upper body and core. Friday, conditioning. And Saturday, stretching, active, and rest again. Since it's off season, we want to focus on their weaknesses and get them stronger. So we will start with a higher volume and lower rep range to enhance strength and power, speed and agility. Sunday will be cardio, and for cardio, our athlete will do a 30-minute light run, such as jogging, not too far and not too fast. His intensity load will be at 60% heart rate max, just so it won't be at 100. Increasing cardio can help support them and keep them in shape for running in a game and get prepared and better for a 40-yard sprint. This will help him be light on his feet. During this exercise for their intensity, a peak value of oxygen uptake or consumption, VO2 max, is usually defined as the maximum capacity of an individual's body to transport and to utilize oxygen. It is generally considered the best indicator of cardiovascular fitness and aerobic endurance. This is one of the reasons why I chose cardio as one of the first exercises we will be doing to start the week. For Monday, we will be doing full body. The reason why I chose full body was because in research, it was shown that using maximal strength training with high loads and maximal intended velocity in the concentration action gives high responses on sprints and jumps for soccer players. So the fact that the same training also enhances aerobic performance through improved work economy is another important reason for introducing this type of training. For one, I chose heel elevated goblets. The reason why I chose those was to enhance the calves. The elevation of heels may shift the center of mass anteriorly where the calf requires activation to control balance and stabilization during the squat performance. Second, lunge to shoulder press. The reason why I chose lunge to shoulder press was because when doing a lunge, you are stretching out your hips, and to shoulder press to uplift and use the core to make sure the athlete is also staying lean and engaging the core. The third one, I chose oblique rotations. That is also engaging the core, but also using balance to balance the hips going back and forth. 4, I chose ice skaters. When gliding and touching the floor side to side, they will be opening up and being more flexible, which is needed in a soccer player, and also engaging their hips, which is much needed. And then continuing on to 5, jump squats. The reason why I chose jump squats was because to jump is needed in the playing field, and as going up and down, it will help with flexibility and leg power. For Tuesday, lower body. The reason why I chose lower body was because the results demonstrate that in a light soccer player with great lower body strength show better sprint and counter movement jump performances, which means that specific resistance training to develop lower body muscular maximizes sprinting ability. For leg day, the first exercise is single leg squat. The reason why I chose this is to get the leg power needed and the balance as well. For 2, squat jumps. So starting already in a squat position and start going up, which could also help with the vertical jump test. Third being dumbbell deadlifts. For when it comes to those, at least having the upper body strength and the leg movement to go up, and that I could also be engaging the core, but mainly using your legs to lift. 4, leg extensions, that being engaging your leg for leg power, using the glutes and also balance to go up and down, and not on a machine. So go ahead and use a bench, put your one leg on top and balancing kind of like a lunge position and start going up and down with weights in your hands. 5, being hip thrust. When doing those, engaging your core, also engaging the glutes, lifting up, showing leg power. And that would conclude leg day. Stretching, which is going to be the active rest days, which is Wednesday and Saturday. So I put it all together in one slide because they're both engaging the same areas. The reason why I chose to add those stretching days was because it is an active rest. So instead of doing a complete active rest, also doing stretching, because being flexible is needed when it comes to a soccer player, because that range of motion needs to be there. Even though there is not significant amount of change when it comes to stretching, it happens over time. So after several weeks, you will notice the difference in yourself after stretching, because it will open up many areas for you. And this causes specific adaptive changes in the muscular tendon structure and influences the neurophysiological properties of those tissues. So for table 3, which is Wednesday, I chose piriformis stretch, lunges side to side, Achilles tendon heel stretch, standing calf stretch, and hip flexors. All of those at least being a minute, so go ahead and going deep into the stretch. And after each exercise, doing a 30-second rest in between if needed, because it's just stretching, so making sure you're breathing properly in between. For number 1, the muscle group will hit the glutes, hips, and the piriformis. Number 2, it'll hit the glutes, hips, and hamstrings. Number 3, obviously the Achilles tendon, and it will help stretch out the calf as well. Standing calf stretch, which will help stretch out the calf along with the lower leg. And then hip flexors, because it's very important to open up the hips, especially if you need a kick during a game, and making it all ready to go. Especially having that hip movement, it's also going to make the sprint better as having that starter position to be able to run. Table 7 for Saturday, I did the supine core strengthener, which is engaging the core, the downward facing dog pose, so that will help the shoulders, hamstring, calves, your lower back, and the Achilles heels. High lunge, so making sure the core is engaged. It will help back extensors, and your legs. And the chair pose with hip opener. So that's again opening up your hips more, helping your glutes, and also having your core engaged. And number 5, being seated forward bend. So that will help your hamstrings, back, and attention inward. All of these also being a minute and making sure you're going into the stretch with a 30 to 60 second rest in between exercises if needed. And also breathing properly. And as for Thursday, which is upper body, this is table 5. The first exercise is backward crunch. So being on your back and go ahead and lifting your legs up. This is also very much engaging core, but also showing your range of motion when it comes to legs. Second are plate transfers. This is making sure that you are well balanced when bringing the plate forward to your legs, and also your legs bringing the plate back to your arms and making sure the core is engaged because, again, this is upper body and core. 3 being hanging bicycles. So hanging with your hands and having that support up. This will have resistance on. These are going to help upper body and core, making sure the core is engaged, and also when doing, widening up those hips and using your legs to come forward. And making sure that you have the right balance so you don't keep swinging as you're doing them. 4 being circle presses. So this is literally upper body. So making sure that you are engaging and bringing up your arms. I chose the circle presses because, yes, of course, being lean and making sure that the athlete is still fit is a priority. But for these exercises, I added in just a few for upper body because we need to make sure he's well-rounded everywhere. Yes, we are focusing on leg power, but there is a way to continue with adding other exercises. 5 being butterfly crunch. The reason this is being done is making sure that your legs are being flexible and being able to crunch with it. This is also to help open your hips and bringing core engaged when coming up and coming back down. The reason why I chose upper body and core is because with core training results, there is a difference in back strength, leg strength, and vertical jumps compared to other types of training. And it has been said to include more upper body and core training into programs for soccer players because it helps with strength, endurance, and balance. And Friday being conditioning, which is the day we do the more intense to see where the athlete stands and to see what else we need to improve on. The first exercise is going to be the one they need to work on, which is the 40-yard sprint. It's kind of like a test to see where they're at for the week and see if they've improved. This is, of course, going to be 100% of heart rate max. They're going to go full out. It's just going to be one set. The second is going to be kettlebell reverse lunges. The reason why I chose these is to still engage the leg and to have a little bit of a lighter exercise after the 40-yard sprint. Third is going to be the box jumps. This is just to keep them going. I put less exercises, but stronger exercises. The last one being ladder shuffles. This is to continue with agility and speed because this is what a soccer player is going to need when being on the field. The reason why I chose conditioning was because this will help with agility, and agility is a complex ability, and it depends on several factors such as muscle strength, speed, balance, and skill. And it has been said coaches and conditioning experts have to balance their training methods and exercises in order to optimize different skills in relation to their contribution to overall soccer performance. The only way to have a successful soccer player is to enhance their aptitude for the sport with technical skills and outstanding fitness. And it has been documented the importance of endurance training for success in soccer performance. And that concludes my program design. With these exercises, I do believe my athlete will perform better in the 40-yard sprint. Thank you for listening, and I hope you are staying safe.